important ULA Atlas V launch for the U.S. Space Force. This is not officially part of the highly debated, controversial military contract that was awarded. That officially begins in 2022. However, the ULA, as most people know, has been a big part of the U.S. military and the Air Force, the Space Force, since that was created, that sort of thing, in order to launch military satellites for various purposes. And that's going to be continuing. ULA is going to have, as most of us know, 60% of the future contracts for the upcoming military missions. SpaceX having 40%. You need to keep in mind that, yeah, maybe SpaceX has 40%, but old boys like Northrop Grumman got cut completely out, and so did people like Boeing. So the U.S. military has stated, that they only have confidence in two companies, and that's ULA and SpaceX, and they have greater confidence in ULA because of their record. The Atlas V has a spotless record. It has one rocket that technically failed. However, post-failure, the payload used its own engines to compensate, and the mission was still a success, and the payload got to the desired orbit. So technically, the Atlas V has a spotless mission record with not a single failure. The Falcon 9, on the other hand, although it has had 100 straight successes, does have a failure rate of a little less than 2%. Obviously, that's very low, and obviously the Falcon 9 is doing very well. But on the other hand, there are some military payloads that cannot make it to geosynchronous orbits utilizing the Falcon 9, not without expending the entire rocket. And if you expend the whole rocket, it's pretty much the same as the Atlas. I mean, you're pretty much using the whole rocket either way. You need the Falcon Heavy in order to deliver heavier payloads, and the Falcon Heavy has very, very few launches under its belt. It is an underused rocket, in my opinion. I've actually made some videos about how I wish SpaceX would use it more, and they are going to be using it more, a hell of a lot more here in the near future. But given that a lot of the military's payloads are too heavy for the Falcon 9 to deliver to geosynchronous orbits, then I can understand them wanting to go with a system that has a 100% reliability rating over dozens and dozens of launches as opposed to only 3. So that's kind of where the military's mindset is now. I suspect after this 5-year contract is completed, if SpaceX and ULA both do very well, they're probably going to split it straight down the middle. I really hope that Blue Origin doesn't get into the mix at all, because frankly, I don't think they deserve it. I don't think they deserve a piece of the pie. They got into the game late. Of course, everybody knows that I'm prejudiced against them. Okay, so now I've finished ranting on about that, or going off giving you guys a little bit of an explanation. Really quick, it's 5 minutes before ULA goes live. This is not, if you want to watch ULA commentary, then watch their stream. Just to let you know, their commentary is going to be muted until the time of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, until they're actually at the final countdown, and then they will be muted again shortly after launch. The reason for that is I found myself talking over the Rocket Lab commentators from time to time. And I really didn't want to do that. I'm sure they had important things to say, but at the same time, if you want to watch their commentary, head on over to their stream, and I certainly wouldn't blame you for doing it. However, if you're watching this for my commentary and my point of view, then by all means stay here or flip back and forth between it. That's the wonder of the internet, isn't it? I myself am flipping back and forth between the coverage. As I try to keep up with it, we are just over 4 minutes away. If anybody has any questions on chat, I guess we have 175 people watching right now, but if anybody has any questions at all, not just on the Atlas, but on other topics, feel free to let me know. If not, I will continue talking about the mission. Having a look at the chats right now, I know that I've seen that some people are online right now. By the way, and this is not to say that anybody should be, yes, it is out of the Cape. It's out of Cape Canaveral. ULA very seldom launches anywhere but Cape Canaveral. And just so you know, not to say that anybody should definitely, you know, have to or want to, but if anybody does a super chat, something special is gonna happen. My friend in the UK has added a special little feature. If you toss a super chat on there, at least I hope it works, but something special comes up when you do a super chat. So anyway, that's just my little thing on there, and like anything I get out of this will certainly be used for positive purposes. You know, all of this is new equipment, new technology, that sort of thing, and the live broadcast is coming up right now from ULA. So here they come. By the way, this is a the Google plus Starlink, or the a question was asked about that, or the Kuiper mission. Jeff Bezos purchased 9 Atlas V launches for the Kuiper belt. He got sick of waiting for his own rocket company to get to orbit, which is his fault, in my opinion, by the way, not anybody else's. And so he purchased 9 launches of the Atlas V in order to go ahead and try to get his satellites into orbit. He's using the Atlas V again because of its spotless record. I am checking with my technical support on the sound. Okay, you can hear me now? Do I have audio? Good, good. Very thrilled to hear it. Bear with me here. I'm trying to get my stream of the ULA launch at the same time. So this is. There we go. Okay, I need to go ahead and shut these guys up. Please be quiet. Just 1 second. Sorry, guys. This is creating an issue. I didn't realize I had speakers on. Die speakers. Okay, good. Now we are watching the live stream of what's going on with ULA at the same time. So once again, I apologize, everybody. That is part of this process as I get more accustomed to what's happening. So the Atlas V rocket is in what's called a 4-to-1 configuration. So just to clarify what that means, the 4 stands for the fairing size, 4 meters in diameter, which is all that they need. in order to be able to accomplish this. The 2 stands for the 2 solid rocket boosters that it's going to be using in order to push its launch to orbit, and then the 1 is for its 1 central booster, its main engines, which of course everybody has. So anyway, that's kind of the way that goes. So yeah. That's the long. This geosynchronous orbit, or just geosynchronous satellite, by the way, is exceedingly important to the defense of not only the United States, but most of the world. It's, of course, I think, a secret as to where it will be orbiting. That's kind of important, but it is designed to detect flares or thermal activity from ballistic missile launches, not necessarily nuclear, also ballistic missile launches using conventional weapons. So it's an early warning system. Who knows where it's going to be stationed? Since it's in geosynchronous orbit, it will be keeping an eye on one particular part of the Earth, obviously. It'll stay stationary in that location. On top of that, there are 2 small sats or CubeSats from the Air Force Academy that are being deployed by this, as well as ride shares. The Air Force Academy is very familiar to me because I am from Colorado Springs. Yeah, it's this actually has a little bit of a personal connection for me, so I'm kind of excited about that. So yeah, and I apologize, you're right, that's the main booster in the upper stage. You're right about that. I don't know, like I say, I was trying to pull up things multiple times, so there was some issues as far as that's concerned. Silent again. Have we lost volume? Have we lost volume? Okay. The Long March might have been detected by such a satellite once it was actually burning up, because it would generate an infrared signature. So that makes some sense. That would be, somewhat logical as to whether or not something like that would happen. So yeah, it's going to detect any significant infrared or heat source launches on the surface of the planet. So yeah, it's a very important launch. It's a very heavy satellite that could technically be launched to a geosynchronous orbit using the Falcon 9. However, the additional payload on top of it, the extra ride share, probably couldn't carry it. So once again, we always, a lot of questions get asked. Why is the military going 60% ULA? Well, there's still some reasons for that. Even if it is more expensive. The Atlas V is a good rocket. It's an older rocket. It's a disposable rocket, and it should be replaced, in my opinion, eventually. But at the same time, right now, it still serves an important purpose. And we are seeing lots of venting, obviously, off of the rocket. The launch is coming up very soon, so we will see that happening very soon. So yeah, let's and keep it going. Keep it, by all means, keep the questions coming. And once again, I am, as always, appreciative of any support that I might receive by anything that I might get from you folks. But a like and a subscribe would be very much appreciated as well, obviously. Yeah, we will. Let's see, don't crash the Atlas V, put it in a museum instead. Yeah, I think an Atlas V should end up in a museum. It has a very, very long history of doing, quite a lot of launches, very important, high-profile launches. What you're seeing right now, obviously an animated depiction of how this whole thing works. The RL-10 engines on the upper stage of the booster. The RL-10, this is an improved and upgraded version of the Aerojet Rocketdyne engine that's going to be going here. Aerojet Rocketdyne, of course, being very important to ULA, but at the same time now Blue Origin is extremely important, and also this rocket using Russian engines as its primary engines, Russian engines, which is unfortunate. What about the future of Rocket Lab? They be bought out to restore confidence. I think they still have a chance on their own. Their reliability rating has dropped. They definitely have some making up to do. I think Peter Beck should perhaps pay for the insurance costs for the loss of those rockets to Black Sky. Keeping that customer is incredibly important to Rocket Lab. I hope, being bought out, I think would be unfortunate, because I think it would also put the majority of people who are working for this company in New Zealand out of work. I'm still thinking that they can make this happen. So that's kind of how I'm looking at. Yeah. Finally, some space news that isn't about SpaceX. Well, that's kind of what these live streams are about. Even though I intend to do some SpaceX stuff, really, I want to bring stuff to you that other people are not. So we definitely need to keep that in mind. I'm going to be giving these live streams to you folks of other types of launches from around the world as time goes on that other folks may not cover. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do a SpaceX launch, but at the same time, I definitely want to share these kinds of launches with you folks. And this is, again, very, very important. This early warning system is critical, not just in terms of nuclear weapons, but also in terms of conventional ballistic missiles. United States troops came under Iranian ballistic missile attack about a year ago. That was kept from the public until recently, but the base was absolutely pummeled by Iranian ballistic missiles, short-range ballistic missiles, but nevertheless, early warning systems are invaluable to people on the surface of the planet, even when nuclear weapons are not taken into account. So yeah, a lot of talk about Blue Origin still happening. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. He does complain a lot. That is indeed a lot of what he does. It's what he just, the fact of the matter is he doesn't deserve the contracts yet, not until he gets to orbit, and he's not to orbit. As most of you know, Elon made a really rude comment, but very funny, saying about Jeff, the guy who can't get it up to orbit, in parentheses. So yeah. When a CEO makes that kind of statement, well, only Elon is going to say stuff like that. But it's true. He can't get it up to orbit. So let's, and it's been 20 years. So I really just don't have a lot of, sympathy for the guy. I really don't. In fact, I've got no sympathy. I will eat a hat, Nikolai, and you have to go back to the video where I ran that. It has to get to orbit and it has to land. That's what it has to do in 2021. Otherwise, I'm not eating anything. It has to demonstrate that it can get to orbit and be reused. If they pull that off this year, then I will be a happy person. And then I'll eat a portion of a Boeing hat, which will give me horrific indigestion. So that's kind of, on water, no, that's not proof. You set it down on water and it goes like that, you got to prove that it's going to set down and stay stationary. So yeah, that first suborbital flight is not going to be proof that it can land. because they probably intend to land it on water, although there is some talk of them landing it on a platform. By the way, my next video, spoilers, guys, my next video is about that subject, about the Starship going to orbit, you know, in the summer or sometime around then. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Let's see here. What do I think about the government creating mandates for NASA to use certain contractors just for the job? The government shouldn't create any mandates for NASA. The NASA should make their own decisions, period. The government should give NASA sufficient funding in order to make the right decisions, but I don't think that they should be making decisions for NASA. NASA made up of scientists and engineers. Government obviously is made up of politicians. So no, I don't believe that they should be dictating a damn thing, plain and simple. Okay, so yeah, it's a little rocket. Oh. So yeah, definitely not sufficient funding. Just keeping up with things going on. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We have 275 people online. Apparently, I really do appreciate it. Please like, please subscribe. And the first person to jump on with a super chat, by the way, gets a special thing. Well, actually, everybody who does gets a little special bonus thing. But once again, times are tough. So if I get no super chats in this stream, that's life. You know, that's okay. I understand. It's not your obligation to pay my bills. Just like, please, and subscribe, and I will be a happy person. Okay, so that's enough of that. So yeah, hello to everybody, and once again, just to it's on hold. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? It's on hold. Okay, I'm gonna on this real. Bear with me for just one moment. On the status. All right, bear with me for just a second here. I'm checking on the status of ULA. Oh, thank you so much. Something should have popped up, K Workshop, on the screen. Something should have gone, bing. Did something appear on the screen? I hope it did. Bing. So yes, I hope these things are popping up, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be a little, there it is, the thank you comes up when we get a super chat. So yeah, that's a neat little feature that I didn't have. So thanks everybody. I do appreciate it. Once again, this all goes to a very positive cause, because when it comes down to it, you know, if and when this orbital launch of a stacked Starship happens, guys, I am going to go there. I'm going to watch the first one. I'm going to watch it from the seawall, and I'm going to be ready to dive for cover. Let me tell you something. If they stack this thing and flip the switch inside of the next 30 to 60 days, I'm going to watch this from the seawall, and I'm going to hide. Not to say that I don't have any confidence in SpaceX. I have a great deal of confidence, but rockets sometimes blow up the first time they try to launch, and this is a very big rocket with a whole lot of fuel. So I am definitely going to duck. 4-minute hold, guy, just a 4-minute hold. So not too bad, not too bad. So bear with us, guys. We are trying to keep up with what's happening, and just have a little ways to go. And once again, I'm doing so many. Oh, Mars Embassy, thank you, Mars Embassy. One of my great friends, Mars Embassy, by the way, has his own channel. I strongly recommend you go there and subscribe. Total Space as well. Total Space, guys, go there, subscribe, watch their stuff. They have top quality stuff. Very good quality from these folks. You know, Mars Embassy, really good on the spot photography and film from Boca Chica. My inside man at Boca Chica, shall we say. from South Padre Island, and Total Space, who do great interviews with people that don't often get interviewed, don't often give people a chance to interview them. I know because I've tried to interview them and failed. And they've managed to pull these interviews off. So by all means, yeah, duck and cover unquestionably. Like I say, I am feeling optimistic about a stacked Starship, but at the same time, if this thing gets 150 meters, 200 meters from the tower, and then goes up, I will be crawl under the earth behind the seawall, because that is a hell of a lot of fuel and probably an explosion that would rival the N1. Not that I say that that's likely. I don't think that it is. But, you know, the potential's there, obviously, with a whole bunch of engines. The last time we tried to launch a rocket that had this many engines was the Soviet N1, at least this many big engines. So yeah, it's definitely something. Thank you, Justin. Really do appreciate it. Offloading some of my anger. Yes, there is anger to be had. And as everybody knows, ULA is the child of Boeing. People have asked me, why the hell do you like these guys when you hate Boeing so much? Well, you know, sometimes children turn out to be better than the parents. And that is the case with ULA. They have outgrown their parents. They are innovative. They're coming up with new solutions to try to compete with SpaceX, instead of just going to their buddies in the government and trying to get them to pull strings and get NASA to do what they want them to do. That is the way a company should compete. That's the way a company should behave. And plus, this is something that a lot of you may not know. ULA is right where SpaceX is in Boca Chica. They're almost in the same location, a 45-minute drive from each other. ULA has a massive manufacturing facility in Harlingen, Texas, that the locals are very fond of and have been for a long time before SpaceX even got there. They pay well, they've got great benefits, and the people there, I'll tell you, the locals there who I've talked to a lot, they're very fond of ULA. And they're a very good employer. They like SpaceX too. SpaceX is a great employer. ULA has been an employer in the area longer, actually, and a lot of people don't know that. ULA keeps a low profile in South Texas, and they wouldn't give me a tour either. Thank you so much, Marcinski. I really do appreciate that. And so we should have a thank you popping up for you, unless it already happened and I didn't even see it. Thank you for subbing, WHMP. Subs coming up. And by the way, we have a special thing that pops up when subs happen too. All these little bits of glitz that we have going on. It's like playing a slot machine. So, oh boy, that was a bad comparison, wasn't it? Okay, nothing like playing a slot machine. Absolutely nothing. It's all right. So yeah, Lockheed Martin owns half of ULA. Yeah, I mean, like I say, this is the child of another, of two companies, two old boy companies. I think Lockheed Martin is better than Boeing, in my opinion, but excuse me, still, ULA is the company that is working on innovation and reusability to compete. They are, and they're not doing reusability in the same way that SpaceX does. They're doing reusability in a unique and an interesting way. I like that. It's the same reason I like Virgin Orbit. They look upon reusability from the same perspective. So I'm going to really quick. Oh, by the way, a quick shout out to Static Fire Gal. Hello, Static Fire Gal. Also from Total Space, just to make it very clear. Static Fire Gal is from Total Space. Great channel. And once again, I'm going to give them another shout out because they are the best. So by all means, go there and check it out. Okay, so we're up to go, no go poll, just to let you know. That is our current status. Hopefully we are go. Hopefully we are go, everybody. Cross your fingers. Let's hope that this is going to go. So in any event, okay, let's keep this going. Yeah, it's nothing close to what a nuclear bomb does. I agree, David. It's not even remotely close. There was some idiot who made a comparison between what an exploding starship would do and Hiroshima. I'm not going to say who that idiot was, but I attacked that idiot on my channel, and he claimed that it would be the equivalent of 3 Hiroshimas, which is or Hiroshimas, however you want to pronounce that, which is insane. That's beyond stupid. The N1, the Soviet N1, when it exploded, was barely the equivalent of a 1 kiloton tactical nuclear weapon. Nevertheless, it shattered windows as far away as 35 kilometers from the launch pad when N1 exploded. So if this goes up anything like N1 does, and once again, I don't think it will, but if it were to do so, it would probably shatter most of the glass on Padre Island, and the injuries associated with that, plus scaring the hell out of people. So, it's pushing forward really fast like this. It's got its advantages, it's got its disadvantages, but SpaceX has incredibly smart people working for them. They have geniuses working for them. So I do have a great deal of confidence that they are going to be able to make this work. Or if they think that it isn't going to work, or they have less than an even chance, then they're going to call the whole thing off and delay it until they feel more confident. I do feel that that is likely. So yeah, I'm not people who come online just for the sake of, everybody knows that I criticize Elon from time to time, but the Elon haters who jump on and say completely unfounded and stupid crap, they just annoy me beyond all belief. It's just narrow-minded. His entire vision is wonderful. Explore the solar system, colonize the solar system, make us a multiplanetary species. That's the only way our species is going to survive long term. I totally agree with him there, and that's why he's pushing so hard, is to get us there as fast as he can. I'm totally for that. Just let's not blow anybody up in the process. That's all I have to say, because that will slow down the whole thing. So that's kind of the way I look at it as far as that's concerned. Boeing, Northrop, ULA, etc., one being its incestuous pool. That is actually a very good statement, David. I may use that in a statement someplace. I don't throw ULA into that. I really don't, even though they all know each other and they all are close and all that kind of stuff. They're just not the same people. They really are embracing reusability, innovation, instead of government corruption that's just my opinion, in order to compete. And that's why this rocket is going up right now, because it is so reliable, because it can transport a lot of mass to geosynchronous orbit reliably. Whereas the Falcon Heavy, which is the only thing that could carry as much mass as it would that SpaceX has to geosynchronous orbit, doesn't have the established track record yet. Yeah, they've got 3 successful launches, but not dozens like this one does. So this Falcon Heavy needs to launch more, and I've been saying that for a while. So let's hope that it goes more. Let's hope we see a lot more of Falcon Heavy. I certainly want to. And we're getting a launch this year, by the way, from Falcon Heavy. Countdown is resumed. Thank you very much. No, somebody asked if it was somebody whose name starts with T and ends with T. No, that is not the individual. So we are getting really, are we on a hold again? Bear with me, I'm checking ULA status real quick. Hold delete minus 4 minutes. All right, we're close. And I may be muted at any time here. Just like I'm trying to recall if you're the person I met, and I'm so sorry. If you're the person I met in Boca, the answer is yes. As a matter of fact, just need to get it framed. Okay, so countdown T minus 2 minutes. Okay, we're going, guys. We are going. I am beyond excited, and I will be muted here shortly. Sorry, my own stream keeps getting held up. Not sure if it's an internet connection or what, but it is very annoying.
FCS count started.
So I'm trying to keep up with it here, and I'm just going to keep up with it there as well. Bear with me for a moment here. Okay. Can we please go full screen when we get
liftoff, the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket with the 5th space-based infrared system satellite for the United States Space Force.
Yeah, go, baby, go, go.
Now 15 seconds into flight. PU's gone to closed loop control. Engine operating parameters continue to look good.
You're hearing the voice of Patrick Moore providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Vehicle's now completing the pitch over program. Body rates look good. Seeing good chamber pressure on both SRBs. And RD-180 now beginning the throttle bucket. Engine response looks good. And now passing through Mach 1. Atlas V is now supersonic, and Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Body rates continue to look good through the boost phase. Vehicle's now throttling back up slightly. Engine response continues to look good. Chamber pressure on both SRBs continue to look good. Now passing 1 minute 10 seconds into flight. Atlas is now 10 miles in altitude, 4.5 miles downrange distance, traveling at 2,000 miles per hour. 1 minute 20 seconds into flight, standing by for SRB burnout shortly. Body rates continue to look good. Chamber pressure on the SRB is now tailing off. And we have burnout on both SRBs. Atlas will hold on to the SRBs for an additional 39 seconds before jettison. RD-180 is throttled back up to full thrust. Engine response looks good.
Go, 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 go,
Now
go!
1 minute 50 seconds into flight. Body rates continue to look good throughout the boost phase. And the Atlas V now weighs 1/2 of its liftoff weight.
This is amazing. Sorry, guys. I'm actually getting a better stream off of my phone, actually, that I'm getting off of my garbage PC here. What a beautiful launch. What a beautiful launch. Everything going nominal. There goes the solid rocket boosters. I love solid rocket boosters. I don't know why they just so much power buckled up in those things, especially for the SLS. The only part of SLS that I love is the solid rocket boosters. But those are gone, and we are continuing. So yeah, it's
2 minutes 40 seconds into flight.
It's looking nominal. Once again, I don't even have audio on this, just so you know, but at the same time, just from looking at it, everything appears completely nominal. It's rolling into its proper position.
Now coming up on 3 minutes.
SRBs have detached. We're coming up on Nico at this point, and then the Russian engines will have completed their job. And
Now
then
about 1 minute
I
remaining until
can't
booster
wait
engine
actually to get non-Russian engines on a ULA rocket. To be honest, I hate to seem prejudiced against the Russians, but at the same time, and not that I like Blue Origin, but I hope those engines work from Blue Origin. I really do. I intend to be there, by the way, for the Vulcan Centaur maiden launch. I'm very excited about that because it's the Peregrine. It's the Peregrine. It's super important to Artemis. Super important.
And RD-180 is now throttling
All
to
right,
maintain a
everything
constant 5D
still
acceleration
looking
limit.
very
RD-180
good.
responses look good.
No issues whatsoever. Bear with me for just a moment, just checking on.
And Centaur's begun the boost phase chill down sequence.
On ULA status while I'm at it.
RD-180 now going to 4.6G throttle limiting, standing by for Pico.
Hope you guys are enjoying the show.
Pico booster engine cut
You
off.
don't get to see this kind of stuff every day, and I was an extremely excited person, to say the least. All right, we're up to Nico. Main engine cut off, and there she goes. Now the important moment.
Full thrust on the RL-10.
Secondary engine getting ready here, and the ignition should be. It may have already. I think we have secondary engine going at this point.
This first burn of today's mission will last approximately 10 minutes 30
I
seconds.
believe that's looking nominal as well.
Parameters look good. Body rates have damped out nicely.
Got some gimbaling as the rocket goes into position. Once again, sorry to be looking down at my phone, but that's where I'm getting my best view. Yes, indeed, we have nominal performance of the second stage engine. Everything looking perfect. This very heavy satellite being carried all the way up to geosynchronous orbit. That is so much higher than low Earth orbit, tens of thousands of kilometers. And by the way, the satellite itself has its own engines to take it even further. The one occasion that we had an Atlas V failure, the engines cut out. The payload actually used its own engines to get the payload all the way into the proper orbit. So the mission was still a success in spite of the second stage, rather the technical rocket failure. So the mission still succeeded in spite of it, which means, once again, you got a little bit of an issue happen, and everything goes haywire. We've got some stuff going on right now. Some demonstrations from this satellite. Once again, very important. This thing will have the ability to observe the infrared flares. To kind of repeat myself here, the infrared flares that we detect on ballistic missiles. And this is not just Soviet missiles, or not just nuclear missiles, rather, from Russia or China or North Korea. This also includes ballistic missiles from places like Iran, or places that uses ballistic missiles to attack targets with conventional weapons. So yeah, this is extremely good technology. Very important that this get deployed. It's the kind of military mission I like. This is a military mission designed to prevent war. There are no weapons on this satellite. It's simply designed to watch and make sure that nobody tries to sneak in a ballistic missile launch on anybody else. And if it happens, then obviously the individuals who launch are going to suffer a nasty retaliation, and so they don't launch as a result. So that is very, very positive. A very positive mission, in my opinion. So yeah, it's everything is nominal. This thing has managed to achieve orbit. Everything is looking good. The payload has I don't see the payload has actually been deployed, but my suspicion is that it has. But everything is looking nominal right now. This has been a beautiful. The deploy is in about 4 minutes. So I'll be online for a little bit longer because obviously we need to make sure that the payload's engines on the satellite actually function as well in order to get this thing into geosynchronous orbit. Geosynchronous orbit is so far up that it's actually the transfer point to where you can transfer to the moon quite easily. Go a little bit further and you're on your way to the moon. So this is a very, very high orbit, very high. So it's extremely important, therefore, that you have a powerful and reliable rocket that's going to get you there. The Falcon 9 can do it up to a certain point, and be able to recover its booster. But there is a point where that payload drops off. And then the reason for that is because of reusability. It needs to keep some of its fuel in reserve in order to land. If the Atlas V, of course, doesn't have to worry about that. It uses all of its fuel for takeoff. So that's an important factor. And that's how, that a ULA advocate would say that, their solution is better or whatever. However, the Falcon Heavy, of course, can deploy very large or very heavy payloads rather to geosynchronous orbit and have reusability built in. However, it's a $90 million launch, which isn't too much different than what the Atlas V is. The Atlas V is just north of $100 million. So, and what I'm saying is not that ULA is better, just that ULA is competitive. And I like that. Competition is good. Competition is very good for everybody. So we are watching to make sure that the payload deploys properly. And I'm here with you all the way. Everything is looking very positive. And of course, it's everything that just about anybody expected. The Atlas, they call this thing the Dominator for a reason. This thing dominates space flight. Getting an update right now. Bear with me just one moment. Just checking here. Yeah, they'll still be live actually. For another, just for anybody who wants to hang around for a little while, they're going to actually be live for another 40 minutes until the payload is confirmed in orbit. So I'll be here with you guys for quite some time. If you're not interested in hanging around, I certainly understand. But at the same time, I'm going to stay here and make sure that this is a successful mission. I'm going to make sure that everything goes well. I'm going to check my chats here real quick. Upload schedule, Nikolai. I cannot be 100% certain as far as what I'm going to be covering next. It's just I know I'll be covering Virgin Orbit. They have a launch going in June. There isn't a lot scheduled. The Chinese are launching something tomorrow or today, I believe. The resupply or supply rather mission to their space station, but that will not be televised. The Chinese never televise their launches. They're very secretive. It'll go live someday, but the Chinese never ever televise anything because in case something goes wrong, they don't want to be accused of failure. Oh, but by all means, like I say, my knowledge has some drawbacks, but nevertheless, RL10 orbital insertion burn still going. Yeah, it's okay. And just to clarify, the Chinese do televise it, but it's usually only on Chinese sites and not always live and not always available to the rest of us. So it's very difficult to do live coverage of Chinese launches. However, this is a launch to the Chinese space station with their the Shenzhou. Is it the Shenzhou or Tianzhou? It's one of the two. That's going to be carrying up a lot of supplies for the Chinese space station. And then that will be followed by Crew in July. And then they're going to keep sending up modules. And for all I know, they're going to keep modules are going to keep, or rather rocket boosters are going to keep coming down, keep burning up and causing some problems. How does an SN11 explosion feed into that so reliable on the low energy failure into old Raptors on the first try? That is a good question. That is a very good question on the whole fears. The SN11, when it blew up, it airbursted. It was the only serial number starship to do an airburst. And the debris spread up out over a huge field. I mean, I saw it. They were massive pieces of stainless steel weighing hundreds and hundreds of kilograms that were thrown the length of 5 to 10 football pitches away from the launch pad, football fields for Americans. But yeah, it's crazy how far the debris went with just SN11 with barely any fuel in the tank. So you get something like Starship taking off, and if it were to blow up, 150 meters or so over the pad, as the N1 did, that would be truly devastating. And not that I'm saying that's likely. I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but at the same time, it could, we just have to be prepared for the worst. Speak again with the Russian accent. Flight termination charges mean failure. We do not believe in failure. You might want to look out for the shockwave. Is that not right, Tavarish? I only speak a little bit of Russian, enough to be obnoxious. Okay, so reviewing Kerbal 2 when it's out, probably not. I'm not a Kerbal Space 300 people watching. Thank you, guys. I'm not a Kerbal Space guy, to be honest. I've got other people who do Kerbal Space stuff. So I don't think I could review it intelligently, to be honest. I don't have a powerful enough PC to even run it properly. So there's just going to have to be some changes I'm going to have to implement in order to make that happen. So yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Lunar mission last year was like, let's see, as range safety hates having large pieces raining down. Yeah, I don't think any large pieces will get as far as South Padre. However, I mean, if the explosion is incredibly powerful, small pieces of stainless steel weighing a few, like 20, 30 grams could definitely make it. And if they're sharp and super hot, I mean, the insulation made it as far as South Padre. Now, obviously, that's light, carried by the wind. It's a totally different thing. Still, I'm not 100%, confident, but I'm confident enough to go. Let me put it that way. I'm confident enough to be there in person. So regardless of what happens, it'll be happening live on Angry Astronaut. So anyway, let's see. Everyone watch the movies. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. I have not actually, John. I haven't watched that. Okay, we don't have payload deployment yet. I guess the RL-10s are going to be pushing this just a little bit longer. Please please subscribe, by the way, guys. Little special thing comes up with subscribe. Little special thing comes up when a super chat pops up as well, and those sorts of things. And once again, thanks very much. Just to everybody for watching. I'm deeply grateful that everybody's watching this very important moment in the defense, not only of the United States, but of every country that the U.S. assists with their defense. This includes Japan. This includes South Korea. This includes the Philippines. This includes all kinds of countries, in NATO, all over the place. Anytime there's a ballistic missile launch, this satellite, if it's positioned over the right place, is going to notice it, and it's going to warn whoever it's coming in on. And if it's a conventional ballistic missile, that could mean the difference between life and death for these people, whoever the target is. And more countries are getting medium range and intermediate range ballistic missiles, not with nukes, but still with very large conventional warheads. This even includes Hamas, who are getting better and better rockets all the time to pierce the Israeli Iron Dome. Thank you so much, Dan, for the Orbital Hat Fund. You're the best. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. We'll see. I still don't believe that Starship will reach orbit and land safely this year. That is my personal belief. But given how long it's taken them to reach, 10,000 meters and then land safely, orbit and landing safely is another matter. Also, the heat shield, you're going to see this all in the video I have coming up. The heat shield didn't hold up completely. Even under launch, re-entry would be 1,000 times worse for the heat shield. A lot of the tiles kind of kept partially, disconnected. This is what I was going on about, by the way, for all this time when I said, landing was so damn important for Starship. We need to be able to examine the heat shield and every other aspect of Starship to make sure it's going to be safe. Heat shields obviously failed the shuttle. Heat shields obviously led to the destruction of the Columbia. And, it was a debris strike, obviously, that wouldn't happen with the Starship. But at the same time, if there's a problem, with the heat tiles, we need to know now. And, one of them completely, actually, a few of them completely fell off. Some of them appeared to crack. I have photos to confirm this. So there's work to be done. There's work to be done. And this first suborbital flight, there is a strong possibility that this thing will just burn up in the atmosphere when it comes in back through. But even if it does, that's still important. If it reaches space and then comes back in and burns up, that is still a huge step forward for Starship. And I suspect that that's probably going to happen a few times before they land the Starship successfully, or can even attempt a land. So I am not going to, Nikolai, I'm not going to give my opinions on Israel and the Palestinian conflict. That is way too political. All I can say is it sucks. It sucks for the children, especially, who are victims of this. I'm not going to blame either side right now. I do have strong personal opinions, but I'm not going to express them. This is a space channel. This is not a political channel. I'm not going to wade into that quagmire. It's just very sad that we have so many dead children as a result of this. That is very tragic, and it shouldn't have happened. So that's just my opinion as far as that's concerned. So they never tried some shields on a Falcon 9 to see how it holds. Well, they do have sort of a heat protection on the Falcon 9, but it's still very different. The Falcon 9 booster is coming in at a lower altitude, not a belly first kind of re-entry. It's a totally different story. So really it's and also stainless steel is a different harmonic vibration than what the Falcon 9 has. So, that sort of testing might give a little bit of information, but really you need to test it on Starship. Also, a lower velocity for orbit reentry for Mars return. Yeah, we need to know about Mars as well. Obviously, that is all going to be very, very different. So we'll see as far how that goes. Okay, let's see here. When am I coming to the UK? As soon as I'm able to. Right now, the UK still has very strong restrictions on people who travel from the United States, and that's probably going to be in place for a while. You have to self-quarantine for 10 days as an American to come to the UK. I'm not going to just stay in somebody's house or in a hotel room or whatever, in a flat for 10 days, hiding from the world. I'm going to wait until this whole COVID thing blows over, and then I will be coming to the UK. So yes, fungus on Mars. Alan, is it true? I don't know. Is it possible? Yes. Fungus, there's no scientific reason why fungus could not exist on Mars. Certain types of lichens lichens and fungus, that sort of thing, could definitely survive the surface conditions on Mars. It's actually been considered as a method of terraforming Mars, introducing these types of highly resilient mosses and lichens and that sort of thing, and fungus to the Martian surface. So yeah, it's possible. Now, is it true? I obviously there needs to be a lot more work done on it. But yeah, it is. I would say it's definitely possible. Thanks everybody for your kind comments. By the way, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, fungus was one of the first types here on Earth, and as a matter of fact, it was one of the types of life that flourished after the asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs. When when the asteroid incinerated everything on the surface of the planet, it left a lot of dead organic material, and fungus flourished for a long time on the surface of the Earth, more so than any other kind of life after that catastrophic event. It's in the fossil record, an entire strata level of solid fungus. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff to say the least. So it does appear that that we have ULA still going. We're waiting for confirmation of orbital deployment. I'm going to stay online until we get confirmation of that, at least for a little bit longer. So we will see what ends up happening. Fungus among us, yes. We'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. But there's a wide variety of different types of life that could exist on the surface of Mars. So then, as far as fungus is concerned, it could, and we don't even know exactly what we've seen. But I can't comment definitely one way or another, aside from saying that yes, it is possible. In spite of the extremely adverse conditions, there are examples of fungi that could exist on the surface of Mars. So we'll see what ends up happening. Okay, let's see here. Bigfoot on Mars. Okay, guys. Well, anyway, yeah, it appears that NSF has gone offline, and that's fine. I'm staying on until we're sure that this thing is on orbit. Of course, it's going to be a while until we know that it's completely functional and all that kind of stuff. But if ULA has actually completed their mission and gotten this thing to geosynchronous orbit, that's what I want to check out. So I'm going to keep watching this feed until we have this confirmed. In the meantime, I'm more than happy to take more questions. I have not done a video on Skylon, and I want to. There are so many topics. And one thing I want to make sure you guys know, there's a reason why Starship videos with me are few and far between. There's so many other space topics that need to be covered. And yeah, maybe it doesn't get me as many views. Maybe it doesn't get me as much money. I don't care. I want to, obviously I want to make a living, but at the same time, I want to bring, the full breadth of space flight to my viewers. I want, regardless of whether, it's popular or not, I want people to learn about space flight. So that's very important to me, very important. Okay, yes, the current status on the launch. Let's go ahead and just do a quick recap. The Atlas V took off, no problem. Solid rocket boosters, detached, nominal. First stage detached, nominal. The RL-10 engine lighted without ignition, completely nominal. Driving the satellite, this infrared spy satellite, into geosynchronous orbit. And then the satellite itself is going to use its own engines in order to achieve the final orbit. So that is an update on what is happening for people who are just arriving right now. Once again, it does appear, although we can't be 100% certain just yet, but 99.999% certain that the Atlas has once again done its job and gotten its payload to the desired orbit, and whether or not the satellite functions is not, on the that's not on the Atlas. That's on the manufacturers of the satellite. But nevertheless, let's hope everything works perfectly. Obviously, could have said this from that question has been asked about the Chinese booster. Anything that generates a heat signature is going to be picked up. A big heat signature that is in the atmosphere is going to be picked up by this thing. Now, of course, from the moment it starts, a re-entry starts generating a lot of heat, these satellites, are going to see it. The Space Force, it's one of the reasons why the Space Force knew that the booster hit the Indian Ocean, is because of this kind of technology. So, that's, yeah, it serves a lot of purposes. Let's hope the Chinese have learned from their experience with this, though, and then they do a controlled re-entry of their booster the next time. It's certainly doable with the technology that they have at their disposal, because we don't need the whole world staying up late at night. By the way, we've got 304 people still watching. Thank you very much. Please like, please subscribe, and I appreciate any support that comes in. I want to make sure that let's see. For some reason, those of you who have, boy, a subscriber just came up. Thank you so much. A subscriber just popped up. That's another little function of what we've got going on here. I'm moving into the real world of broadcast. How about that? So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I really do appreciate it. It's pretty cool, and all due to my supporters in Britain. It has nothing to do with me. This improved way of bringing you guys live streams is all as a result of their technical skills, not mine. So thanks, everybody. Thanks so much to my colleagues in Britain who are making this possible. Thanks especially to Total Space. Total Space. I'll just say one of their creators is running this whole thing for us right now. So go there, subscribe to Total Space, please do. Support that channel. Okay. Good morning, Australia. Thank you so much. Yes, the Chinese Communist Party doesn't give a monkey's ass or shit or whatever. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. They really don't care. Oh, while I'm talking about giving people shout outs and all that, check it out. Starship, if anybody's interested in a Starship, you go to Spaceship Mania. The links are in virtually all of my recorded videos. I'll make sure to put it into this as well. And put in the code ANGRY15, no spaces, just ANGRY15. You get a 15% discount. And of course, have a look at Crew Dragon as well. And he's sending me some more stuff. I've got a surprise thing coming as well. Ooh, Eric, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Do you think about going to Hawaii to watch the orbital flight splashdown? Wow, I didn't even think about that, Eric. I would like to, but I'm going to watch the takeoff. I will be at the seawall to watch the takeoff. That will be, even though the splashdown I think is going to be amazing, I do believe that the takeoff is going to be the most impressive thing that has ever been seen in space flight, given the amount of engines, fuel, etc. that's being expended here to drive 100 tons worth of stainless steel into space. I'm going to have to be there. And seeing it happen and getting ready to jump behind the seawall just in case things go south. But I'll be filming all the way through it. So if things do go south, you will see it happen live and in person and probably hear me cussing a lot. So anyway, thanks everybody. Really do appreciate the support. You guys are the best. Okay, let's keep it up here. Tori Bruno said responsible providers do not do uncontrolled entry. That's from Tori Bruno from ULA. Absolutely correct. There's a perfect way to bring your boosters in. You can do controlled reentries with today's technology. No reason not to. They did it anyway because they don't give a shit. It's as simple as that. And of course, everybody knows that that's the way I talk on this channel, but it's true. They don't. Now, the Chinese people, that's a different story. These are good people. They're hardworking people. They're family-oriented people, which is what makes me even angrier that these good people get victimized and dominated by this government, this unprincipled and frankly evil government that China has. It's not as bad as North Korea and some other governments across the planet, but still, I have very little respect for them. Very little respect given the awful things that they've done to their own people. One of the worst things imaginable. Second upper stage burn underway. So we got things going. There's another burn going right now on the second stage. Just for a quick update for Abdul Rahman, who just signed in. Launch successful. Solid rocket boosters successfully detached. First stage, MECO, was successful. Second stage lit. We're in another burn right now of the second stage in order to get the payload into the correct orbit. Everything is working perfectly. So ULA, as usual, is doing a perfect job. They and SpaceX are two of the most solid companies, space companies on the planet. It's difficult to find anybody better than the two of them. They are worthy competitors, worthy adversaries, and that's why I like both of them. As opposed to Boeing, who's a garbage adversary, and people like them. Blue Origin, which is a garbage adversary. Show me something. Show me something, and then I'll be impressed. Don't show me a 10-minute suborbital bungee jump. Show me something real, and then I'll be impressed. But until that happens, I'm not interested. Hello from Turin. Hello, where the Halo habitation module is being built by Alenia. I assume that's Thales Alenia getting a European on the moon. I am so happy about that. Plastic Pinocchio. Thank you so much for the super chat and for the €5.50 you just gave me. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm super excited about that as well. Thales Alenia, if anybody is wondering, is manufacturing the modules for the Axiom space station, for Axiom Space. They're very good at space station modules. They built all the ones for the ESA, and they're building this for Axiom Space as well. They are experts at this and doing a fine job. And Axiom Space is on target to have their module deployed by 2023. So I'm super excited. 100 seconds left on the burn, according to my latest update. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Just having a look at, I'm just making sure I'm caught up with all the chats and such. The little new shepherd, yeah. Will Bigelow be taken over by somebody in the future? Alan, Bigelow kind of has been taken over, and that's by Sierra Nevada. They've embraced Bigelow's technology, and they're going to be putting up a space station using that inflatable technology by 2026, using the Sierra Nevada Dream Chaser to carry people to their space station. So they are a direct competitor of Axiom Space. And those two are going to be a serious competition. But it's possible that Bigelow could come back. It's very possible that Bigelow could bounce back. So we'll see as far as that's concerned. And obviously we have engine cutoff on the second stage. So we're still heading into orbit. Everything is looking nominal. Separation in 12 minutes. Once we have separation and everything is looking nominal as far as that's concerned, then I'll probably be going offline at that point. I want to provide comprehensive coverage for you guys so that so you can follow through to the end. If something were to happen, obviously during this process, which is highly unlikely, but if something were to happen, then I want to be here to tell you about it. So we'll see. The Sabre engine technology, I'm very interested in it. I'm going to do a video on it is my answer as far as that's concerned. So I am most intrigued with that and everything that Britain is doing as far as that's concerned. There's some neat stuff happening as far as that's Orbex. I'm very intrigued with what Orbex is doing. They just secured millions of dollars of funding for what they're working on. Skyrora doing the same thing. And of course, Spaceport Cornwall and Virgin Orbit. Even though Virgin Orbit is officially an American company, come on, let's be honest. We all know that it isn't. It's British. And, that's just the way it is. Total Space interviewing Skyrora again in a few weeks, just so you know. So stay tuned to Total Space. That should be a cool interview. One that I want to do as well, by the way. So I am envious. I'm envious Total Space. Okay, let's keep it going. Hello, Supax, one of my, or Supax or whatever. I'm sorry. He's one of my strongest supporters. Really do appreciate that. Okay, the life module, yes, that is what Sierra Nevada calls their inflatable space station modules, are the life module, an inflatable fabric made out of multiple layers, radiation resistant, able to survive the extreme cold of space, everything you need out of a space station module, and colossal. You can send up one massive element of this station with a Falcon Heavy, and then just inflate it and put people into it. It's cool technology and something that Sierra Nevada has already built. They already have a demonstration model of it up in their own facility. Very cool stuff. So I'm beyond excited. Isar Aerospace, I have actually. Thank you very much. Danke sehr. Grüße aus Deutschland, as he said. Ich spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch. Nur ein bisschen. So, in any event, thank you very much. I am familiar with ISAR Aerospace, I guess, or I should be ISAR, I guess. I'm very interested in checking them out as well. So much cool stuff around the world to be covered. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to Europe, is because there's so many cool things in Europe happening. So many things happening right now, and so I am extremely happy. Extremely happy indeed. The exclusion zone, how big the exclusion zone is going to be the first orbital Starship launch. It's going to be the same as it is right now. Unfortunately, you can't just evacuate South Padre Island. There's huge hotels there. You're not just going to tell everybody to go away from South Padre Island. There's no way that they're going to be able to accomplish that. So the exclusion zone is going to be what it is now. That's what has me worried. Is that big enough? Don't know. But it isn't practical to evacuate South Padre Island every time you're going to do a launch. That's way too big of an impact on a major tourist destination. So yeah, it's we'll see. 10 kilometers, yeah, and it is 10 kilometers from the pad to South Padre Island, roughly about 10 kilometers. So yeah, but then again, N1 blew out windows 20 to 30 kilometers away when it blew up. That's the figure that worries me. That's what concerns me. But once again, do I think that's likely? No. But could it happen? Yes, it could happen. Anything could happen. Will ULA be destroyed by Starship? No, I don't think so. And here's why I don't believe that it will be. As spaceflight explodes, as more and more people want to go to space, SpaceX is only going to be able to launch so many Starships at one time. That's Starship is going to be a big operation. They'll probably have their 2 floating platforms, Phobos and Deimos, launching. They can only do so many launches. Launching one every day, it's going to be a while before they're able to do that, in my opinion. So there's always going to be a need to get your stuff into space as quickly as you possibly can. Also, keep in mind that Starship can only carry so much to a geosynchronous orbit without on-orbit refueling. If you don't want to go through that logistical nightmare, then, or inconvenience, then you might still want to go with another provider. Also, I do not believe that SpaceX will charge $2 million a launch. Don't believe it at all. They've invested too much money in this project, and they're going to need to make their money back somehow, and they ain't going to do it by doing it at $2 million a launch. I believe it'll be more like 20 million minimum, and possibly more than that. So we'll see as far as that's concerned. Let's see here. All right, so I'm just looking for some other questions. Boarding up the windows. Yeah, probably a good idea. Everybody should board up the windows. Of course, how do you board up the windows on your car? The windshield will probably take the shock wave, but maybe not the side windows. Like I say, I don't know. Like I say, I just hope nothing happens. I hope nothing happens, because if it does pull an N1, the destruction will be similar. And N1 dealt destruction over a much bigger area than 10 kilometers. So all I can say is I hope that they're careful. I hope that they're very, 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 very responsible. What I would prefer to see is send up Super Heavy with a couple engines. do a 150-meter hop, send it up with a couple more, you know, do it gradually, step by step. Let's make sure this sucker works before we cram 28 engines on it, load in 3,000 tons of fuel and flip the switch. I think, you know, might want to be a little bit more careful about that. And I do think that SpaceX will be. I don't think SpaceX is going to just, you know, go headlong into that without taking any chances. Would I ever consider going to live on Mars? Says Alan. Yes, actually, it is a lifelong ambition of mine, dream, to die on another planet. To end my life on another planet. I don't think it'll happen, but I would. 20 seconds until separation. Thank you for the super chat. So we got separation coming up really soon, guys. The payload is about to go its merry way. After it does, Elon Citizens Commonwealth, do you think we'll ever see a Sir Elon Musk? We could, Boyd. We could. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. Very kind of you. So we will see. Separation complete. Separation complete. All right, guys. At this point, the payload is on its way to its proper orbit. You know, I will do a quick short to confirm that the payload is in the proper orbit. However, you know, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the feed because it's going to be a long period of time without a lot of news. I am delighted that you guys decided to be a part of this. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much to all the people who did super chats, who supported me in any way that they possibly could. It's going to go to a good cause, guys. I'm going to tell you, between equipment and me going out to see another launch live. So until the next launch, the next live stream, the next exciting event, coming up in the future of spaceflight, and every one of these launches is exciting as hell, let me tell you. I urge all of you to stay angry about space.